Hello everybody, I'm GTF, and this is I Played a Thing. Today we're playing Kikimora's Cleanup. I'm sure you have no idea what that is. Well, I'm about to tell you. It was a little mini-game produced by Compile in 1995, as it says on the bottom of the screen there. And it was released as a part of the Discstation magazine, which was a magazine Compile was publishing beginning in 1988. And amongst the things included in it were little mini-games that they produced. The little blobs on the screen should also give you a vague idea of what this was related to. This is related to Madou Monogatari, the story of magic, which was probably Compile's biggest series, considering how much they made related to it. Most of its characters were ported into the Puyo Puyo puzzle game series as well. As several of those characters probably would be familiar to people who've played those. This is a minigame featuring Kikimora. A maid who is obsessive-compulsive for cleaning. That was the gag of the character. And she would get rather violent about it. This is a Pac-Man clone, as you can see. Plays very similar. The idea is you have to clean up the floor. There are no power pellets, though, as in Pac-Man, so you can't make everything run away from you and then devour their souls. Instead, you can just chuck your broom at them. Of course, you can only do that once, because then you have to go pick it back up, and you cannot clean the floors until you do that. So there's a little bit of strategy to how you approach this. Do you try to work around the enemies in your way, or do you just chuck the broom? At the moment, it's simple, because the enemies are just the standard, adorable Puyo blobs, but there will be more complicated enemies coming in soon, and they will make it a little less simple, as we'll see. But for now, the first two stages are fairly harmless. It says I only have 2 lives there in the top left corner of the screen, and I do, but getting hit is not going to immediately kill me. The only way to die in this game is to run out of time. Getting hit costs you 30 seconds from your timer, though. Pretty heavy of a penalty, considering it ticks down fairly fast. You can gain a few more seconds on your clock, though, by killing multiple enemies with your broom. No enemy takes more than 1 hit to die from your broom, so it's not that hard to do so. Just get them lined up, and later enemy types will chase you fairly ruthlessly, so you can lure them together with fair reliability. These red blobs are particularly annoying if you haven't figured it out how they work yet. They wake up and then shoot at you the moment you're lined up with them. And I took a hit here, so oh well. I still have plenty of time left. And there is an advantage to getting hit, though, where when you get hit and recover from the minus 30 animation, you get your broom back. So if you lost your broom from missing, and it's all the way on the other side of the screen now, and you got no business being over there anymore, it might actually be faster just to run into something nearby and get your broom back and continue where you were. I'm going to be taking advantage of that a lot in this game. It's not a super difficult game, but it is very easy to make mistakes and get very heavily penalized for it. The white ones that just orbit around the tables here, I cannot do anything about. You cannot kill them, they are immune to your broom, you just have to avoid them. Gotta love that bonus ringing. I'll be skipping those soon. And we have another new enemy type. This purple little eggplant man is Nasu Graves. Nasu meaning eggplant. That's what he does. He jumps. He is very obnoxious, because more often than not, he's probably gonna jump right over your broom. If you try to just line yourself up and throw it at him, it's easier to kind of bait him into jumping, or at least try to bait him. I've never really gotten the hang of completely manipulating these guys. And then just throw it on the way down. Nasu Graves was a low-level enemy from the Madou Monogatari series. And he also appeared as a low-level opponent in several of the Puyo Puyo games. He is exactly what he looks like. He's an eggplant with glasses. He's kind of obnoxious. Probably my least favorite enemy type in this game. He chases you around with pretty decent tenacity. He has a decent walking speed. He's not, like, super easy to outrun like the Puyo. And it's the bloody jumping. It's helpful at times because you can just run right under him and not even worry about him. And there was Minotaurus, a higher level opponent from Madou and Puyo, but I kind of splattered his face. We'll see him again later. We'll get to him when he actually survives for more than a half a second on the screen. That was risky there. I probably should have taken a hit there, but I got lucky. Anyway, since you probably are wondering what the heck the Madou Monogatari games are, because I'm sure most of my viewers anyway, who are familiar with Compile or really only know their shooters, like Alest and Spriggan, Gunnak. Compile made a lot of good shooters back in the day. Madou Monogatari was an RPG series that was sort of known for having a very minimal interface. In fact, there really weren't any menus outside of some icons. Yes, the game had no numbers. It didn't believe in actually, like, having numbers to look at. Instead, you were given a very large animated portrait of your character, and you had to gauge their condition by their facial expression. So the more unhappy and sickly they began looking, the worse your health was getting. So when they're like slumping, when they're sort of like slumping down, they got like spirals for eyes, you better heal them. And to sort of keep it fair, you learn a heal spell like immediately. Like before your basic attack spells, you will learn a heal spell. And here's something I just barely luck out with. The minus 30s will never reduce you to lower than 9 seconds. So I just took the hit, I just intentionally took the hit there and ran with the invincibility. And really lucked out there with only 1 second remaining. And if I just committed to making the turn there the first time, I would have gotten through without that hit. But if you notice, I'm now getting hit left and right now that Nasu Graves is the only enemy on the screen. Yeah, I don't like this set of levels. At least these early ones. Some new enemies and some of the Puyo and the regular yellow and red Puyo will come back, and those levels are pretty simple. Like this level. Because the red Puyo will not respawn, they're fixed enemies. So there's nothing left to really threaten me except for the white ones, which are pretty harmless. In fact, you've kinda almost gotta be an idiot to get hit by them. You know, with their blatantly fixed and obvious movement patterns. Oh, I just got hit by one. Huh. Yeah. Forget everything I was saying about those things. They can be obnoxious. This is another fairly simple level, despite it having a ton of enemies on it. Mostly because there's a lot of corners to catch your broom with. Not like that, though. I was trying to throw it to the right, but I was still holding an arrow key, so I was still facing up. Whoops. But yeah, you see, because of all the little turns, it catches your broom sooner, so it doesn't go all the way to the opposite side of the screen before it hits a wall. Which makes reclaiming your broom to keep cleaning much simpler of a task. So you can throw it much more liberally. And sometimes you really gotta just gun it and hope you can catch your broom before something blocks you off from it. I was really hoping the yellow Puyo there would not take a nap, like a frame before overlapping with the red one, so I could kill them both at once, but I lucked out there. Only a little bit left, and once again, you'll see why I really dislike Nasu Graves. Pretty sure I get hit by him more than anybody else in this whole bloody series. And finally we have Minotaurus again, and nope, my bad. He'll get his introduction soon, I swear. Okay, he's back. Nope, wait, no, I'm sorry. False alarm. Poor Minotaurus. There we go. Round 14 done. We are a little over halfway through the game now. There are 24 levels in this game. Okay, finally, a stage where Minotaurus will always be alive on the screen. He was a late-tier enemy in the Puyo Puyo series, and usually one of the later enemies in Madou. In fact, if I recall correctly, in Madou 3, where he was first introduced, he is actually the final boss of some of the versions. He is the somewhat lovable stooge minion of a more important character, Rulu. She was a martial artist who was the self-proclaimed arch-rival of the heroine of the series. I say self-proclaimed because she is romantically attracted to the main villain, simply named Satan, who only has eyes for the heroine, Arlie. Arlie hates him and has really no interest in him at all. So it's another one of those relationships where it doesn't make any lick of sense to one of the parties involved. This series is mostly played for comedy, so it's nothing significant or overly melodramatic or anything like that. Throughout the various media featuring these characters, Rulu was always portrayed as wanting to try to upstage Arlie at anything, even if it meant getting a nicer pair of shoes. Which might be significant because Rulu was usually portrayed as barefoot. And also released on, if I recall correctly, it was also released in the Discstation magazines, were brief little animated shorts, usually like only a minute long, featuring these characters as well. And just to prove how lovably loyal Minotaurus was to Rulu, he actually skinned his own ass to make leather to make a pair of boots for Rulu, after she got jealous of Arlie's new shoes. Not making that up. Like, he's shown there he's shown and wearing an apron, and then the back of his pants fall open at the end of the clip, and you see it's all scarred up because he skinned his own butt. We love you, Minotaurus. You're an idiot, but we love you. Getting closer and closer to the end of this, and we have a new enemy who might live long enough for me to introduce. No, in general, if there's a new enemy type in this game, kill it immediately. But no, I will actually give that one an introduction now, because there's not too many stages left. And she doesn't appear in all of the incoming ones anyway. That dragon girl was Draco Centauros. She was tough to say, to describe what tier of an enemy she is, because she's always jumped back and forth in difficulty in the various games that she was in. Sometimes she's a very early, low-level opponent in the Puyo Puyo games. Sometimes she's a very late, high-tier enemy in them. She is yet another self-proclaimed rival of Arlie. She has a lot of them. In Draco's case, her fixation doesn't make any sense at all. She just regularly challenges Arlie to various forms of beauty contests, such as swimsuit contests and the like. She is, as you can see, a dragon girl. She is later portrayed as having, like, flaming martial arts skills in some of the other RPGs. She was initially introduced as leading a fan club for Satan, with a bunch of other dragon girls as its members. She is also one of the handful of characters who you could recruit as an ally for various moments of the Saturn Madou RPG, which played much more like a regular RPG with numbers and everything. Yeah, I know, it almost feels like a betrayal for it to actually have numbers and not just faces and the gauge of your health being the character saying, "I feel good." But, you know what, it was a fun one too, if not a little basic. I just took the hit on that one intentionally, rather than stay and try to avoid the bullet. I was never going to get around that mob. And of course, Graves jumps my frickin' broom again. There we go. 9 seconds is plenty of time. And to think I've done this whole time without dying once. I'm kind of proud of myself. That was actually a mistake. I did not intend to do that. I tried to throw the broom and I moved a little too far. You can basically just control with the arrow keys. It's nice and simple, but you do move kind of fast. And once again, you always gotta confirm you are facing the right direction. And again, as I said, you move a little fast, so I accidentally ran straight into the white fuzz. And my first death! Yeah, I called out getting through 20 stages without dying for a reason. Embarrassing, because I would have completed that just fine if I didn't run into that second enemy like an idiot. The curse of playing a thing for the camera. Get rid of Draco again. I swear she'll actually be able to get her like a weight of attacking offs eventually. I just don't know when that's going to happen. What she does is she breathes fire, which will extend a handful of body lengths past where she is, and it will cross over walls. That's what makes it annoying and dangerous. Because she doesn't have to actually be in the same hallway as you to kill you, or hurt you, and chop 30 seconds off your timer. Now this stage, aside from that one red one, has nothing but... Oh, there we go, we get some flame. There we go. 3 times. There we go, you've finally seen how it looks. And that will cross over walls and just kill you, snipe you through a wall, or cut off your path. So, very dangerous. Probably one of the more obnoxious ones, especially considering how fast she moves. Because like Minotaurus is, you noticed, he just charges at you once you line up with him, and he, stomps his foot a couple times first. Not so dangerous. And, yeah, this is the final level, so I need to introduce her anyway. She's only going to be respawning one more time. There we go. That was Black Kikimora. A running trend with the Madou games was that many of the characters had evil, duplicates of themselves. There was Doppel Arlie, Doppel Shezo, Dark Witch, and Black Kikimora. Black Kikimora will be adding green mess to the floor as she runs over, much like the way I'm cleaning them. You want to kill her immediately because she makes clearing the stage ridiculously difficult. She functions exactly like you and attacks by throwing her broom, except she can just throw as many of them as she wants, whereas you only get one shot, and her brooms will stop yours. So you kind of got to snipe her, and then kind of camp where she respawns. I'm surprised I was able to get through the floor without her respawning again. And that was it. We have cleared the game. Kind of was expecting an ending music, but, this was a very simple little minigame. Compile made a ton of them. And I will probably do more of these if I can get more of them running. These are actually kind of too old to keep running on current computer systems. Some of them don't actually run as well as they could. If I could fumble through Tower of the Magician, that might be a thing that will happen, but I make no guarantees on that. In the meantime, look forward to more things that I might play in the future, please. Thank you for watching.